Galactic Council hall was silent. 12 chairs stood in a wide circle. 12 powerful alien species sat in those chairs. Some had 4 arms. Some had skin like stone. One looked like a floating cloud of gas. But today, all of them looked the same. Scared. The Supreme Counselor raised his hand. His name was Vorth. He was tall and blue with 4 glowing eyes. He had ruled for 40 years. His voice could make planets shake, but now his voice was low and cold. He said, "We have made a decision." Every alien leaned forward. They knew what was coming. Vorth looked at the screen behind him. On the screen was a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed human colonies. Too many red dots. Humans had spread too fast. 50 years ago, they had only 1 planet. Now they had 200. Humans asked too many questions. They built too many ships. They never stayed quiet. Vorth said, "The human species is a virus. A virus spreads and kills. The galaxy must be clean." No one spoke. Vorth continued, "I have heard your fears. I have read your reports. Humans do not obey our laws. They enter forbidden space. They talk to lesser species. They share technology without permission. Today this ends." He raised both hands now. His 4 eyes glowed brighter. He said, "Exterminate them all. Every human colony. Every human ship. Every man, woman, and child. Burn their planets. Break their fleets. Leave nothing behind." One by one, the 12 species voted. The Rookians voted yes. Their leader had 4 arms and a hard shell. He hated humans because they once saved his enemy. The Vorn voted yes. They were insect people with no face. They feared anything that was different. The Xyler voted yes. They were a fish-like race. Humans had stopped them from overfishing an ocean moon. The Yenin voted yes. They were bird people. Human music was louder than theirs. The Zoral voted yes. They were crystal beings. Humans broke one of their shrines by accident. 12 yes votes. 12 yes for genocide. No one said no. No one asked questions. No one felt bad. Vorth smiled. His teeth were small and sharp. He said, "It is decided. The human race will end in 7 standard days. Our fleets are already on the move. Goodbye, pests." The hall filled with cheers. Aliens stood up and clapped. Some hugged. Some danced. They were happy. A terrible thing had just been voted, but they called it peace. In the corner of the hall, almost hidden behind a tall pillar, stood a single human. His name was Elliot Cade. He was the diplomat. He was one person from Earth in this hall of monsters. He had tried for 5 years to make peace. He wrote thousands of letters. He sat 200 meetings. He shook 12 hands many times. Every time, the aliens laughed at him. They called him the talking monkey. But he kept coming back. He kept smiling. He kept hoping. Now he heard the council vote to kill his entire species, his family, his friends. Every human face he knew would burn. A guard spotted him. The guard was a Rookian, tall with 4 arms. He shouted, "There is a human here. Why did nobody remove this pest?" The hall went quiet again. All 12 aliens stared at Elliot. Vorth pointed a sharp finger. "You should be crying, monkey. You should be begging. You should be on your knees." But Elliot did not cry. He did not beg. He did not fall. He smiled. A wide, real smile. Not a fake smile. Not a scared smile. The smile of a man who knew a secret. Vorth's 4 eyes narrowed. "Why are you smiling, pest? Did you not hear us? We voted to kill your people. Every last one. Why are you smiling?" Elliot stepped forward. He walked slowly to the center of the hall. Every alien I followed him. He stopped in front of Vorth's podium. He raised his head. He said nothing for 5 seconds. The silence was louder than any bomb. Then he leaned into the microphone. He whispered 2 words. Too late. Vorth opened his mouth to speak. But before a word came out, the lights flickered once, twice. Then red lights came on. Alarms started beeping, loud and fast. A Vorn officer ran into the hall. His insect legs clicked on the floor. He screamed, "Supreme Counselor! Ships! Thousands of them! Human warships! They are surrounding our home planet." Vorth's blue face turned pale. He looked at Elliot. How did you? When did you?" Elliot smiled again. He said, "You declared war 30 seconds ago. We declared war 90 days ago. Every ship you have out there, half of their weapons don't work. We replaced the parts last month. Your spies? They work for us now. Your secrets? We read them all. The alarms kept beeping. The screen behind Vorth showed a new image. Thousands of human warships. Big ones. Small ones. Fast ones. All pointing their guns at the Council's home world. Elliot took a step back. He looked at all 12 aliens. He said, "You wanted to exterminate us. But you forgot one thing about humans." A Rookian leader asked, "What? What did we forget?" Elliot said, "We don't wait for permission to survive. We see the storm before it rains. We build the umbrella before the first drop. You plan to kill us. So we plan to live." Vorth fell back into his chair. His 4 eyes went dark. He whispered, "What do you want?" Elliot looked straight at him. "Not revenge, not your blood. Just a conversation. A real one. Sit down. Talk. Or don't. The choice is yours. But remember one thing." He pointed at the screen full of human warships. "The next time you vote to kill us, we won't just surround your planet. We won't just break your weapons. We will end this war before it even starts. And you will never see it coming." The human smiled one last time. "Too late for your war. Right on time for peace. Your move, counselor." The screen went dark. The alarms stopped. The hall was silent again. But this time, the silence was not scared of the council. The silence was scared of the smiling human. The red lights stopped flashing. The alarms went quiet. But the fear in the council hall did not go away. 12 alien leaders sat frozen in their chairs. They looked at the screen. Then they looked at Elliot. Then back at the screen. The human warships were still there. Thousands of them. Hungry. Waiting. Vorth stood up slowly. His 4 eyes were dim now. His blue skin looked gray. He said, "This is not possible. Our fleet is the strongest in the galaxy. Our weapons are the best. Our spies are everywhere. How did you hide so many ships?" Elliot pulled a small device from his pocket. He placed it on the floor. The device grew into a small table. On the table was a hologram. It showed the Council's home planet and the space around it. Elliot said, "You see this moon? The small one. Dead moon. No life. No resources. You never look at it. For 3 months, we hid behind that moon. Every night, we brought more ships. One by one. Slow and quiet. You were too busy voting and shouting to look up." A Rookian general stood up. His 4 arms were shaking. He said, 3 months? That means you knew about the vote before we voted. How? The vote was secret. Only 12 of us knew. Elliot looked at the general. He said nothing for a moment. Then he pointed at the floating cloud alien, the one who looked like gas. "Ask him." Every alien turned to look at the cloud being. His name was Drift. He was from the Zephyr species. He had no face, no hands, no feet. Just a floating cloud of purple gas. But now that cloud was shaking. Drift spoke. His voice was soft like wind. I told them. The humans saved my daughter 3 years ago. Did you know that? My daughter was lost in space. Her ship broke. No air. No heat. The council said she was too far to save. They said let her die. But the humans heard her signal. They flew 40 days, without sleep. They saved her. So when I heard about the vote, I sent them a message. One message. Just one. Vorth screamed. His voice was not calm anymore. "You betrayed us. You traitor. You floating piece of gas." Drift's cloud turned dark. "No. You betrayed what this council was supposed to be. We voted to kill millions because they asked too many questions? Because they built too many ships? That is not justice. That is fear." The other aliens looked at each other. Some looked angry. Some looked confused. Some looked scared. But one thing was clear. The council was breaking apart. Elliot raised his hand. "Enough. This is not a trial. This is not a fight. This is a conversation. Sit down." No one sat. Elliot sighed. He pressed a button on his small table. Outside the hall, a loud boom shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. The aliens grabbed their chairs to stay standing. Vorth shouted, "What was that?" Elliot said calmly, "That was one of your battleships. The biggest one. We just disabled it. No one died. But they cannot move now. In 10 minutes, we will disable another one. Then another. Until you sit down and talk." The alien sat down. Fast. Elliot nodded. "Good. Now let me explain something. We do not want your planets. We do not want your resources. We do not want your technology. We want one thing. Respect. A Vorn leader clicked his insect mouth. Respect? You hid ships behind a moon. You broke our weapons. You threatened our home world. And now you ask for respect? Elliot smiled. Yes, because we gave you respect for 50 years. We followed your rules. We stayed in our corner. We asked nicely. And what did you give us? A vote to kill us all. So yes, now we are asking differently. But we are still asking. Not begging. Asking. The Yen bird leader stood up. Her feathers were puffed. She said, what if we say no? What if we fight? Elliot looked at her. His face was serious now. No smile. Then you will lose. Not because we are stronger. Not because we have more ships. But because you do not know who you are fighting. You see humans as pests. As monkeys. As a virus. But we are none of those things. We are the species that walked out of caves and touched the stars in 5,000 years. You took 50,000 years to do the same. We are the species that turned rocks into computers. We are the species that looked at death and said, not today. You want to fight us? Fine. But know this. Every war you start, we will finish. Every attack you send, we will return. Every bomb you drop, we will drop too. Not because we love war. Because we love our children more. The hall was silent. No one moved. No one breathed. Vorth spoke softly. What do you want exactly? Elliot said a new treaty. Not the old one. The old one was slavery dressed as peace. A real treaty. Equal seats. Equal votes. No species above another. No more council with one leader. A real alliance. Vorth laughed. A dry, sad laugh. You are one human. One. And you are asking 12 species to give up their power? Elliot smiled again. No, I am not asking. I am telling. And I am not one human. Behind that moon are 5 million humans. Behind those ships are 10 billion humans. Behind me is every human who ever dreamed of the stars. I am not one human. I am all of us. He pressed another button on his table. The hologram changed. It showed the human home world. Earth. Blue and green. Beautiful. Then it zoomed in. Millions of humans stood outside. In every city. On every street. They were holding signs. The sign said one thing. Peace. Or else. Elliot said, my people are watching. The whole galaxy is watching. What will you choose? Vorth looked at the other 11 leaders. One by one, they nodded. Even the Rookian. Even the Vorn. Vorth turned back to Elliot. He bowed his head. We choose to talk. Elliot smiled. Good. Then let's begin. The council hall was quiet again. But this was a different quiet. Not the quiet of fear. Not the quiet of shock. This was the quiet of people who knew they had lost. Vorth sat in his chair like a broken statue. His 4 eyes stared at the floor. The other 11 leaders looked at their hands, their feet, anywhere but at Elliot. Elliot did not move. He stood in the center of the hall, like a tree in a storm. Steady. Strong. He waited. He knew that silence was a weapon. And right now, he was winning. Finally, a Xyler leader spoke. Her name was Quilla. She had fish-like skin and big black eyes. She said, human. Elliot, I voted yes today. I voted to kill your people. Why are you not angry? Why are you not shouting? Why are you just standing there? Elliot looked at her. He said, because anger is fast. Anger burns bright and dies quick. I am not here to burn. I am here to build. But before we build, we must clean the dirt. And there's a lot of dirt. He pressed a button on his small table. The hologram changed again. Now it showed a small space station. Old. Broken. Floating near a dead star. Words appeared below it. Research Station Theta 9. Destroyed 20 years ago. 500 humans dead. The aliens looked at the image. Some looked confused. Some looked away fast. Some looked scared. Very scared. Quilla asked, what is that? What are you showing us? Elliot said, you know what this is. Some of you were there. Some of you voted for it. Some of you just closed your eyes and pretended not to see. But I will not pretend. 20 years ago, the council sent a secret fleet to destroy a human research station. The station was in empty space. Far from any planet. Far from any rule. The humans there were studying a new kind of engine. A clean engine. An engine that could travel between stars without leaving poison behind. The council was scared. Not of the engine. Of what the engine meant. If humans could travel faster and cleaner, they would spread even more. So you killed them. 500 scientists. 500 mothers and fathers. 500 dreams. You killed them all. Vorth raised his head. His voice was weak. That was different. The station was in forbidden space. They broke the law. Elliot laughed. A cold laugh. Forbidden space? Who made it forbidden? You did. Why? Because you wanted to keep the best stars for yourselves. The humans on that station were not hurting anyone. They were not building weapons. They were not spying. They were learning. And you killed them for learning. That is not justice. That is murder. He pressed another button. The hologram changed. Now it showed a video. Old video, shaky video. It showed a human man, with gray hair and glasses. He was sitting in a small room. He looked tired. He looked scared. But he was recording. The man spoke. His voice was slow and clear. My name is Dr. Thorne. I am the lead scientist on Station Theta 9. The council ships are here. They are asking us to come out. They are pointing guns at us. I do not think we will survive this. So I am recording this message for anyone who finds it. The council is killing us because we found something. Something big. A way to travel between galaxies. Not just stars. Galaxies. They are scared. Scared that humans will become stronger than them. Scared that we will not need their permission anymore. If you are watching this, do not cry for us. Do not revenge for us. Just remember. Remember what they did. And ask yourself one question. Who are the real monsters? The video ended. The hall was frozen. No one spoke. No one moved. The words hung in the air like smoke. Who are the real monsters? Elliot looked at each alien one by one. He said, Dr. Thorne died that day. But his recording did not die. One human escaped. A young engineer named Mira. She was 22 years old. She hid in a trash pod. The council ships did not check the trash. They thought trash was nothing. They were wrong. Mira floated for 3 weeks. No food. Almost no water. She almost died. But a human cargo ship found her. She told everyone what happened. And we waited. We did not attack. We did not scream. We waited. For 20 years, we waited. We collected evidence. We built ships. We made friends like Drift. And we waited. Because we knew that one day, the council would show its true face again. Today was that day. A Yenin leader stood up. Her feathers were flat now. No anger, no pride. Just sadness. She said, I was not on the council 20 years ago. I did not know. I swear I did not know. Elliot said, maybe. Maybe not. But you knew something was wrong. You felt it. You saw how the council treated humans. You heard the hate in their voices. And you said nothing. Silence is also a vote. Every time you stayed quiet, you voted yes. The Yenin sat down. Tears fell from her bird-like eyes. She did not wipe them. Vorth stood up. His 4 eyes were glowing again, but not with power. With anger. What do you want from us? Blood? Do you want us to beg? Do you want us to cry? Fine. I will cry. Look. Look at me. The great Supreme Counselor. Crying like a baby. Is this what you wanted? Elliot walked close to Vorth. Very close. He looked up at the tall blue alien. He said, no. I do not want your tears. Tears are cheap. Everyone cries when they get caught. I want the truth. I want the council to stand in front of the whole galaxy and say what they did. I want every school and every planet to teach what happened at Station Theta 9. Not to make humans look good. To make sure it never happens again. To any species. Ever. Vorth's mouth opened. Then closed. Then opened again. No words came out. Elliot turned to the other leaders. You have 1 hour to decide. 1 hour to choose between truth and lies. 1 hour to become something better or stay the same old monsters. The choice is yours. But remember, the whole galaxy is watching. And this time, the humans are not just watching. We are recording. He walked back to the center of the hall. He stood straight. He waited. The aliens looked at each other. Some nodded. Some shook their heads. Some just stared at the floor. The clock on the wall ticked. Loud. Slow. Like a drum. The clock on the wall ticked. 50 minutes left. 40 minutes. 30. The aliens did not move. They sat like statues. Some whispered to each other. Some cried quietly. Some just stared at nothing. Elliot stood in the center of the hall. He did not sit. He did not eat. He did not drink. He just waited. His face was calm, but inside, his heart was beating fast. He knew this was the most important hour of his life, maybe the most important hour in human history. A Vorn leader raised his hand. His insect mouth clicked as he spoke. Human. Elliot, we have decided. But before we tell you our answer, we want to ask you something. Elliot nodded. Ask. The Vorn said. You have us trapped. You have more ships. You have more weapons. You have the truth on your side. Why are you not just taking what you want? Why are you giving us a choice? We voted to kill your people. We killed your scientists. We called you pests. Why are you being kind? Elliot was quiet for a moment. He looked at the floor. Then he looked up. His eyes were wet, but he did not cry. He said, because kindness is not weakness. Kindness is the hardest thing in the universe. Anyone can shoot a gun. Anyone can drop a bomb. Anyone can hate. But to forgive, to give a second chance, that takes strength. More strength than building 1,000 ships. The Vorn clicked again. But we do not deserve forgiveness. Elliot smiled. A small, sad smile. Maybe not. But I am not giving it because you deserve it. I am giving it because I do not want to become you. If I kill you all, if I burn your planets, if I make your children cry, then I am no better than the monsters who killed Station Theta 9. I will not let the Council turn me into a monster. That is how they win. Not with bombs, by changing who we are. A Rookian leader stood up. The same one who had voted yes so proudly. His 4 arms were crossed. His hard shell looked heavier than before. He said, I voted to kill your people. I hated humans because you saved my enemy. 10 years ago, my enemy's ship was broken. You fixed it. You gave them food. You let them go. I hated you for that. I wanted you dead for being kind to the wrong side. I was wrong. I see that now. I am sorry. Elliot looked at the Rookian. He said, thank you. That took courage. The Rookian nodded. Tears rolled down his hard face. So what happens now? What is your plan? What do you want the galaxy to look like? Elliot pressed a button on his table. The hologram showed a new image. A circle. Inside the circle were many small dots. Each dot was a different color. Each dot was a different species. No dot was bigger than the others. No dot was in the center. They were all equal. Elliot said, this is what I want. A circle. Not a council. A circle has no top. No bottom. No leader. Every species gets one vote. Every species gets one voice. No one can order extermination. No one can kill scientists for learning. No one can call another species pest. We will have laws. Real laws. With real judges. And if someone breaks the laws, the whole circle decides the punishment. Not one leader. Not one species. Everyone together. A Zoral leader spoke. His crystal body made a soft ringing sound. But who will enforce these laws? Who will stop the bad ones? Who will protect the weak? Elliot said we all will. Every species will give ships to a joint fleet. Not a council fleet. A circle fleet. The fleet takes orders from no single species. It takes orders from the law. If a species breaks the law, the fleet stops them. Humans will be part of that fleet. But we will not control it. No one will control it. The law will control it. The crystal alien rang again. And what if the law is wrong? What if the law is unfair? Elliot said, then we change it. Together. With votes. With debates. With arguments. That is how peace works. It is slow. It is messy. It is hard. But it is better than war. War is fast. War is clean. War is easy. But war leaves nothing behind except graves and hate. I choose slow and messy. I choose peace. The aliens looked at each other. They nodded. One by one. First the Zoral. Then the Yenan. Then the Xyler. Then the Vorn. Then the Rookian. Then the others. Finally, Vorth stood up. His 4 eyes were glowing again. But differently. Not with anger. Not with power. With something new. Respect. He said the council votes. All in favor of dissolving the council and creating the circle. Say yes. 11 voices said yes. Vorth was the 12th. He looked at Elliot. He said yes. Elliot's knees almost buckled. He wanted to fall. He wanted to cry. He wanted to scream with joy. But he stayed standing. He had to be strong a little longer. He said, "Thank you. But we are not done. The circle needs a first law. I have one to suggest." Vorth said, "What law?" Elliot said, "No species shall ever vote to exterminate another species. Not for any reason. Not for any excuse. Not in any situation. This law cannot be changed. Cannot be removed. Cannot be ignored. It is the first stone of the circle. Without it, the circle will break." The aliens looked at each other. No one argued. No one complained. Vorth said, "All in favor." 12 voices said yes. Elliot finally let out a breath. A long, deep breath. He had been holding it for 20 years. Since the day Mira came home with the recording. Since the day he saw the faces of 500 dead scientists. Since the day he promised himself he would find a better way. He said that it is done. The council is dead. Long live the circle. The hall filled with a strange sound. Not cheering. Not crying. Something in between. Something new. Something like hope. Elliot walked out of the council hall. His legs were shaking. His heart was still beating fast. But he was smiling. A real smile. 20 years of waiting. 20 years of planning. 20 years of hoping. And now it was over. The council was gone. The circle was born. No more extermination votes. No more secret murders. No more monsters wearing crowns. He walked into the hallway outside the hall. His guards were waiting. 2 humans, a man and a woman. Both wore gray uniforms. Both had guns on their hips. Both looked tired but happy. The woman's name was Captain Senna. She had short black hair and a scar on her left cheek. She saluted Elliot and said, "Sir, we did it. The news is spreading. Every human colony is celebrating. They are calling you a hero." Elliot shook his head. "I am not a hero. I am just a man who did not give up. The real heroes are the 500 scientists on Station Theta 9. And Mira. And every human who kept believing." Captain Senna smiled. "Still, you should rest. You have not slept in 2 days." Elliot nodded. "Yes, I will rest. But first, I need to send a message to the fleet. Tell them to stand down. The war is over. No more guns pointing at the council planet. We are friends now." Captain Senna's smile faded. She looked at the ground. Then she looked at the other guard. The man guard looked away fast. Something was wrong. Elliot's heart stopped. What happened?" Captain Senna said, "Sir, General Rook. He is not following your orders. He took 3 stealth ships and left the fleet 2 hours ago. He said you are weak. He said the council does not deserve peace. He said they deserve fire." Elliot's face turned white. General Rook. A young general, 35 years old. Scarred face. Angry eyes. His parents were on Station Theta 9. They died when he was 15 years old. He had waited 20 years for revenge. And now, he was not going to let peace stop him. Elliot grabbed Captain Senna's arm. Where did he go? Which direction? Captain Senna pointed at the end of the hallway, towards the Council's weapon storage planet. It is a small moon called Korth. The Council keeps old bombs there, big bombs, planet killer bombs. If General Rook gets those bombs, he can destroy the Council home world in one strike. Millions will die. Billions. Elliot started running. He ran down the hallway. He ran past the guards. He ran past the surprised aliens. He ran out of the building. Outside, a small human shuttle was waiting. He jumped inside. Captain Senna jumped in behind him. The other guards stayed back to send messages. Elliot sat in the pilot's chair. He started the engines. The shuttle lifted off the ground fast. Too fast. His head hit the ceiling. He did not care. He pushed the engines harder. The shuttle shot into space like a bullet. Captain Senna held on to her seat. She shouted, "Sir, General Rook has 3 stealth ships. We have 1 small shuttle. No weapons. No shields. What are you going to do?" Elliot said, "I am going to talk to him." Captain Senna's eyes went wide. "Talk. He has planet killer bombs. He is not going to listen to words." Elliot did not answer. He just pushed the engines harder. The stars outside the window turned into lines of light. They were moving faster than any human ship should move. The shuttle screamed. Metal parts shook. Alarms beeped. Elliot turned off the alarms. 20 minutes later, the moon Korth appeared on the screen. Small. Gray. Dead. And next to it, 3 black ships. Stealth ships. Human-made. Invisible to most scanners. But Elliot did not need scanners. He knew where Rook would go. He had trained Rook. He had taught Rook everything about war and peace. And now he had to stop him. Elliot opened a communication channel. General Rook, this is Elliot. Stop your ships. Turn around. Come home. The war is over. Silence. Then a voice came back. Hard. Cold. Angry. The war is not over, Elliot. The war will never be over. Not until every council leader is dead. Not until their planets are ash. Not until they feel what my parents felt. Elliot said, Rook, listen to me. Your parents did not want revenge. They wanted justice. There's a difference. Revenge makes you a monster. Justice makes you a human. I am giving you justice. The council is gone. The circle is born. The leaders will stand trial. Real trial. Fair trial. That is justice. Rook laughed. A sad, broken laugh. Justice. They killed 500 people. They killed my mother. My father. And you want to give them a trial? A nice, clean trial? With lawyers and judges and chairs. No, they do not deserve chairs. They deserve fire. The 3 black ships moved closer to the moon. Their cargo doors opened. They were ready to take the bombs. Elliot made a decision. A crazy decision. A stupid decision. He pushed the shuttle forward. Right between Rook's ships and the moon. Captain Senna screamed, What are you doing? Elliot said, buying time. He turned off the engines. The shuttle floated in empty space. Right in the path of the 3 stealth ships. If they wanted the bombs, they had to go through him. Rook's voice came back. Angrier now. Move, Elliot. Move, or I will move you myself. Elliot said no. Rook said, I am warning you. I have 3 ships. You have 1 shuttle. I have weapons. You have nothing. Move. Elliot closed his eyes. He thought of Dr. Aristhorn. He thought of Mira floating in a trash pod. He thought of 500 dead scientists. Then he opened his eyes. He said no. If you want those bombs, you have to kill me first. Go ahead. Shoot. But remember one thing. Every bullet you fire at me, you fire at everything your parents believed in. They did not die for revenge. They died for knowledge, for peace, for a better future. Do not turn their death into an excuse for murder. Silence. Long silence. The 3 black ships did not move. Then 1 ship turned away. Then another. Then the 3rd. Rook's voice came back. Soft now. Broken. You win, Elliot. This time. But I will never forgive them. Never. Elliot said, You do not have to forgive them. Just do not become them. That is enough. The 3 black ships disappeared into the darkness of space. Elliot leaned back in his chair. He was shaking. His hands were wet with sweat. Captain Senna looked at him. Her mouth was open. She could not speak. Elliot whispered, Take us home. 1 year later, the council hall was gone. Not destroyed. Changed. The old chairs were removed. The old podium was melted down. The old screen was taken apart. In their place stood a circle. A simple circle. No head. No foot. No top. No bottom. Just 12 seats arranged in a perfect ring. Each seat was the same size. Each seat was the same color. Each seat was made from the same metal. Metal from Earth. Metal from Rook. Metal from every home world of every species. Mixed together. Melted together. Forged together. You could not tell which metal came from where. They were one now. Elliot stood outside the new circle hall. He was not wearing his old diplomat clothes. He was wearing simple pants and a simple shirt. No medals. No badges. No symbols of power. He looked like a normal human. Because that was what he wanted to be. Normal. Just a man who did his job and went home. Captain Senna walked up to him. She was not wearing her uniform either. She wore a blue dress and simple shoes. She smiled. You look strange without your jacket. Elliot laughed. You look strange without your gun. Senna laughed too. Old habits. I still keep one in my shoe. They both laughed. Then they walked inside the new hall. The 12 seats were full. But not with the old leaders. Most of the old leaders were in prison, waiting for trial. The new leaders were different. Younger. Braver. Kinda. They were chosen by their people. Not by power. Not by money. By votes. Real votes. Every alien in the galaxy had a voice now. It was slow. It was messy. It was hard. But it was working. In the center of the circle stood a small table. On the table was a glass box. Inside the glass box was a piece of paper. On the paper were written the first laws of the circle. Law number 1. No species shall ever vote to exterminate another species. Law number 2. Every species gets 1 vote. No more. No less. Law number 3. Truth is not a crime. Lies are not protection. Law number 4. The circle exists to serve the weak, not the strong. Law number 5. These laws cannot be changed. Elliot walked to the center. He stood next to the glass box. He looked at the 12 leaders. He said, 1 year ago, this hall was filled with hate. 1 year ago, 12 species voted to kill my people. 1 year ago, I stood here and whispered 2 words. Too late. Today, I am here to say 2 different words. Thank you. The leaders nodded. Some smiled. Some cried. A young Rookian leader stood up. She had 4 arms like all Rookians, but her shell was soft, not hard. She was from a new generation, a generation that did not grow up with hate. She said, Human Elliot, we should thank you. You could have destroyed us. You could have burned our planets. You could have killed our children. But you did not. You chose peace. You chose forgiveness. You chose to be better. We will never forget that. Elliot bowed his head. Then we are even, because I will never forget the ones who helped us. Drift, the floating cloud who sent the first message. Mira, the engineer who escaped the trash pod. General Rook, the angry young man who chose not to shoot. Every human who waited 20 years for justice instead of revenge. We are all building the circle together. Not one species. Not one leader. All of us. A small voice came from the door. Excuse me. Can I come in? Everyone turned. A small alien child stood at the door. She was Xyler. Fish-like skin. Big black eyes. She was maybe 8 years old. In her hands, she held a drawing. A drawing of a circle. Inside the circle were many dots. Each dot was a different color. No dot was bigger than the others. Elliot knelt down. Of course you can come in. What is your name? The child said, Kira. My mother is the Xyler leader. She told me about the circle. I made this drawing for you. Elliot took the drawing. His hand shook. He looked at the simple picture. A circle. Many dots. All equal. He said, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. Can I keep it? Kira nodded. Her big black eyes blinked. Yes, but I have a question. Elliot said, ask anything. Kira said, my mother says the old council wanted to kill all humans. She says she voted yes. She says she is sorry now. But I do not understand. How can someone vote to kill? How can someone say yes to murder? How is that possible? The hall went silent. The Xyler leader put her face in her hands. She was crying. The other leaders looked at the floor. Elliot picked up Kira. He held her carefully. He said, fear. That is how. Fear makes people do terrible things. The old leaders were scared. Scared of humans. Scared of change. Scared of losing power. Fear turned them into monsters. But fear is a liar. Fear says kill or be killed. Fear says destroy or be destroyed. Fear says hate or be hated. Fear is wrong. Fear is always wrong. Kira said, then what is right? Elliot smiled. Courage. Courage is right. Courage says forgive even when it hurts. Courage says trust even when you are scared. Courage says build even when others want to break. Courage is hard. Courage is scary. Courage is painful. But courage is the only way. Fear builds bombs. Courage builds circles. Kira thought for a moment. Then she said, I want to be courageous, not fearful. Can you teach me? Elliot's eyes filled with tears. He said, you are already teaching me, Kira. You came here today. You asked a hard question. You listened to the answer. That is courage. Never lose it. Never let fear win. Promise me. Kira raised her small hand. I promise. Elliot put her down. She ran to her mother. The Xyler leader hugged her tight. She whispered, I am sorry. I am so sorry. Kira whispered back, it is okay, mother. The human said fear is a liar. You believed the liar. But now you know the truth. That is what matters. Outside the hall, the sun was setting on the council planet. But it was not a council planet anymore. It was a circle planet. A planet for everyone. A planet for peace. Elliot walked to the window. He looked at the sky. The human warships were gone. They had gone home. In their place were small ships. Cargo ships, medical ships, school ships, ships carrying food and books and medicine to every corner of the galaxy. Not because the Circle ordered it, because people wanted to help, because fear was dying, and courage was growing. Captain Senna stood next to Elliot. She said, "What happens now? What do you do now?" Elliot smiled. Now I go home. I sleep in my own bed. I eat real food. I hug my family. And then I come back tomorrow. And I build the Circle a little more. Every day. One brick at a time. Until the bricks become a wall. Until the wall becomes a home. Until the home becomes a galaxy. A galaxy without fear. A galaxy without monsters. A galaxy where a small child can ask a hard question and get an honest answer. Senna said, "That sounds like a dream." Elliot said, "Every real thing started as a dream. The stars were a dream. The ships were a dream. The Circle was a dream. Dreams are not lies. Dreams are the future calling. We just have to answer." He walked out of the hall. The sun was almost gone. But the stars were coming out. Billions of stars. Billions of possibilities. Billions of chances to be better. The human smiled. Not a sad smile. Not a tired smile. A hopeful smile. And somewhere, in a small room on a small ship, a young general named Rook looked at a picture of his parents. He cried. Then he put the picture away. Then he picked up a book about law. About justice. About building instead of breaking. He opened the first page. He began to read.